The Focolare also began to travel out of Mumbai to Pune to the Papal Seminary and to Goa. In September 1981, Father Joao invited them to speak at many events, and in a span of a week, they met around 2,000 people. One of them was Noela, who then went on to become the first Indian Focolare. There began frequent trips to Goa to meet the new formed community, with also the Mariapolis, one-day programs, as well as invitations to speak at the seminaries. In 1993, a request to open a Focolare in Goa was presented to Chiara. However, that happened to be the year when Chiara had given a directive that no new Focolare was to be opened. Yet, she heeded the request, and that is why the Focolare House in Goa, inaugurated in 1994, is named Focolare Miracolo, a real miracle.
In the early 90s, trips to Bangalore was initiated. On one first trip in 1994 was in search of a place to hold the international meeting of Bishop Friends of the Focolare. Although the meeting didn't happen in Bangalore, a seed was sown. Various religious congregations opened their convents to share and sustain the spread of the spirituality of unity in their convents and to the people around them. Just to give you a sense of this openness among the religious, in 1998, when Bale, one of Chiara's early companions, came to India, she met with more than 1,500 religious men and women in Bangalore, many of whom have never forgotten this meeting. The first Mariapolis in Bangalore was held in 1996 on the same theme, Jesus Forsaken, with the Tamilian translations. In 1999, the first men's Focolare was opened. Thereafter, in 2004, the second Focolare of women came to life. From Bangalore, trips were made to Trichy, to Trivandrum, and today we have two big social projects, respectively Ilantari in Trichy and the House of Unity in Trivandrum.
And what about the capital of our country? Yes, there was a great desire to have a Focolare there. And it was after Chiara's visit to India in 2001 and at the request of the nuncio that the much awaited Focolare in Delhi was opened. Today, we also have a Focolare in Kalimpong, in the northeast of India, a center point in the Diocese of Darjeeling. The opening of the Focolare was done at the request of the bishops. In fact, in the 1980s, there had been many trips made by the Focolarini to meet the priests and the seminarians in Kolkata, and Bishop Stephen Lepcha of Darjeeling Diocese, having known the movement for some years, wanted the spirit of the gospel to penetrate his diocese, especially among young people. He placed this request to Maria Voce Emmaus, and during her first visit to India in 2016, she gave the green signal for a men's Focolare house, which opened the same year. Today, we have communities also in neighboring countries of Nepal and Sri Lanka. These two form part of the zone of India, and their stories are fascinating as well. One such story began in 1978, where Yo, a young Belgian girl, who was an active youth of the Focolare in her country, went to Nepal to offer her time and her capabilities as a nurse at the service of the people in need there. She met and married Ang Shering from Nepal and settled there. Yo's sister Mia, who was then working at the volunteer center of the Focolare in Rome, kept her updated about the movement, and in 1992 invited her to join her in India as she was attending a program with the volunteers. We have Yo, who's been following this program ever since it began. So Yo, can you tell us what happened after that? What do you remember of your trip to India?
What I remember me of the trip, it was in August 1992, and we first visited a little bit at the north of India before we went down to Mumbai. And what I remember that it was very, very, very hot. And so we are not used to. So then some from the movement picked us up on the airport and brought us to a very cozy flat. I remember there were wooden steps. We just have to go up. But the flat was very nice. And it seems it was at Focolare. And we were staying there for a few days. We were about 4 or 5 people. I think Marina was there and Dia. And then we were with 3. The only big problem was that there was no water. So I remember that very well. How can the Focolarinas stay here without water, no, for all these years and this heat? That was my first impression in Mumbai. So then after I returned to Nepal, while Mia and Maria Pia, they were there for one of your programs with the volunteers. And that was the first link that I got with India, because the only link that they have between in the 70s when I came to Nepal was for Asia done with Mumbai, because when we went on holidays, we went with the children to the sea in Mumbai because it was nearer. And then I always jump in Focolare. I know about the Focolare in India, but in 1992 was our first really contact. So from then on, Mumbai was sending me the Living City and the Word of Life. The only problem was, I think they could maybe bring this Living City by feet faster if it was by post. When it took me 2 months, 3 months, 4 months sometimes before we reached some of the Living Cities. It was very difficult to get it. But still, I still have them from all the years at home. And then in 93, I went together with my husband for the Family Fest in Rome. And there, after the Family Fest, we have the school. And then Chiara, the movement, let us know that I was, let us say, clubbed with the Indian continent. So from then on, I took tried to get more closer contact with the Indian Focolare than to go to Bangkok. But then still, it was difficult because there was no communication in the way from writing or telephones. Now you take your phone and you Zoom. But at this time was a little bit difficult because also in Nepal there was no communication. Then that changed in 1997 when Chiara came to Bangkok for the first time. Then I went to Bangkok. And then I get renewed, as you say, with a bigger group of the Indian people. They know the movement. It was very nice. It was very special for me because I know some people that I met in the conferences. But it's really changing, let us say, for myself then. Because I have to tell you, till 1993 in Nepal, there was not freedom from religion. So we never could talk. And I never had talk about the movement then also. So in 97, when I came back to Nepal, then was like a bigger nut was, let us say, with the other people. And then I traveling more to India when Chiara came to India. So I went to all the meetings, and from then on, it was a better communication and a nice thing. And it changed a lot after the Focolare in Delhi was set down. So then we have more people. Since then, a lot of things were changing in Nepal. And before I get started together with Father Miller, that was one of the Jesuits, I know a little bit the movement, and we tried to get a group for the Word of Life. But that was not sustainable. It's a pity. But since then the Focolarinas were in India and people starting more traveling, some Indian people and Focolarinas came to visit us here to see the mountain, to say relax, but at the same time we tried to get together with some people. So since then, we have a small group here, and we have a few. We had to run of unity in some schools with it. We could send some Gen to the Gen Fest. We can also to the United Week, World Week. So a lot of things have happened. Even like yesterday, we had a meeting and a Zoom meeting with the people here, and we were with 27 people. So we were very, very happy. So I was thinking, for me, it's very important that I had the contact with the Indian subcontinent, because I really know that this unity was there and that we just can go on.
Thank you, Jo. Now, from the Himalayas, we move down to the Indian Ocean, with the first visit from India to Sri Lanka began in 1980 by the Women's Focolare. Many religious priests, families, young people welcomed the ideal of unity in a profound way. These visits had 11-year break due to the Sri Lankan civil war. Then it resumed back in 1998 to the great joy of the people there. Sister Maria de Leitia, provincial of the Apostolic Carmel in Colombo, wrote a letter to Chiara to express her gratitude and added, "The time is matured, Chiara, to open a new Focolare in Sri Lanka. Unity is an urgent and desperate need of our country. Therefore, we urge you to open one of your houses here as soon as possible." While this was not possible, the request led to an experiment of 1 month temporary Focolares. In 2003, in Colombo, these temporary Focolares, allowed for the time to meet and deepen the relationship of the community in Colombo, and also travel to other towns of Sri Lanka like Batikolo, Nikombo, accepting invitation and to speak in school, parishes, and religious houses. The Focolare also received a lot of support from the Apostolic Nuncio, who knew the Focolare. In 2014, the first Mariapolis was held in Sri Lanka, and in 2018, 3 young people from there participated in the Gen Fest in Manila. And last year, we received an approval from Emmaus and Jesus to open a Focolare in Sri Lanka as soon as it is possible.
Thank you, Brian, and thank you, Nisha. We are waiting for this as soon as possible. Thank you also for taking us through this ride across the Indian zone and discovering how things started to blossom in India. We'll take a song break right now, but we will remain in India. We've chosen a song that has a bit of sentimental value for us, and especially for the young generations, because it's one of the songs that's composed and realized in India at the Super Congress 2009, which went live across the world through Coimbatore. Let's see how many of you are able to recognize the ones on screen.
Be the change today, bright in the cloudy day. Say it right again, play it twice again. Here we are together, counting on one another, to make a world that never falls into dismay. Follow the light, you don't need to fear the night. Take all the right from all around, the stars come out at night. And what we have around, happy people found, giving up what they have, giving out all they have. And when the world that slowly turns side, make love our only guide. Follow the light, you don't need to fear the night. Take all the right from all the wrong, the stars come out at night. There ain't no reason to be sad when you're with us. There ain't no way to make it back without love.